Hamlin on the pole position alongside Kyle Larson. Race 2 of the playoffs. Let's go!
Denny Hamlin just won his 5th race of 2025 at Worldwide Technology Raceway, but what he said after crossing the finish line has everyone talking. For the first time ever, the 44-year-old driver revealed exactly when he plans to hang up his helmet. And the clock is ticking faster than anyone thought. When reporters asked Hamlin how he stays so focused at his age, his answer caught everyone off guard.
I knew exactly how many races were left, and it's like, the countdown has begun.
This wasn't some vague comment about retiring someday. Hamlin was dead serious about having an exact number. He went on to explain that he'll turn 45 the week after this season ends, and that leaves him just 2 more seasons after 2025. Do the math, and you're looking at roughly 70 races left in one of NASCAR's most successful careers. Hamlin even talked about a recent conversation with Kevin Harvick, saying, "I knew exactly how many races were left." But here's the kicker. Hamlin isn't planning to fade away quietly. He made it crystal clear that pride won't let him stick around past his prime.
There's just got to be a means to an end. I'm just not going to leave this sport on my deathbed. Just leaking oil, just running in the back of the pack. I have way too much pride for that. I'm way too cocky for that. There's just no way. I want to be able to win my last race.
This timeline means Hamlin has exactly 2 more shots at the Daytona 500, 2 more chances to finally win his first Brickyard 400, and most importantly, a rapidly closing window to capture that elusive first championship. When asked if winning the title would make him consider walking away on top, Hamlin didn't hesitate.
Sure, absolutely. Sounds like a good way to end.
Sunday's victory at Gateway wasn't just another win. It marked Toyota's 200th NASCAR Cup Series victory, with Hamlin claiming 56 of those wins. That ties him with Kyle Busch for the most Toyota victories ever. At 59 career wins, he's also just 1 away from tying Kevin Harvick at 60 wins. Tyler Gibbs from Toyota Racing Development put the milestone in perspective, saying it represents 19 years of partnership success across teams like Joe Gibbs Racing, 23XI, and others. For Hamlin, who switched from Chevrolet to Toyota early in his career, the relationship runs deep.
Relationship with them. And so, I've got Toyota running through my blood, both top and bottom.
He said, referencing both his driving career and his ownership of 23XI racing with Michael Jordan. While Hamlin was celebrating and making retirement announcements, Shane Van Gisbergen was fighting for his NASCAR playoff life, and honestly, it wasn't going well. The New Zealand driver started 18th at Gateway, just 0.4 of a second behind Hamlin's pole-winning time. That looked promising, but things went downhill fast. Van Gisbergen climbed to 17th on the opening lap. But his car developed serious handling problems that never got fixed.
Oh, we're wrecking! It's Shane Van Gisbergen and the WeatherTech Chevrolet.
No caution, get it rolling here if you can. Barely touch the left rear on the wall. Should be fine. Get it turned right here, all good.
Over the radio, Van Gisbergen didn't hold back his frustration. "I feel useless," he told his crew after struggling with a car he described as very loose. The problems were consistent throughout the race. He'd show speed on restarts, but lose everything once the field spread out. "I'm good on a restart, but once it strings out, I've got nothing," he explained to his team. The first stage gave Van Gisbergen some hope. His crew gained him track position during a caution, and he briefly climbed as high as 9th place before dropping back to finish the stage in 12th. But stage 2 was worse, with Van Gisbergen falling all the way back to 19th and missing out on stage points again. Then came the moment that really hurt his playoff chances. With 85 laps to go, Van Gisbergen spun in turn 3, bringing out a caution. While he avoided damage, the incident cost him valuable track position. His team tried to get creative with strategy, calling for a 2-tire stop that briefly moved him toward the front. But any chance of capitalizing disappeared when officials penalized him for speeding on pit road. That speeding penalty forced a drive-through that dropped Van Gisbergen deep in the field with no time to recover. He ended up finishing 25th, sandwiched between Ross Chastain and Alex Bowman. It was a disappointing result that pushed him 15 points below the playoff cut line heading into Bristol. After the race, Van Gisbergen was honest about where his team stands. He said, We were probably a 15th place car, but then detuned it a little bit and ended up where we did. He acknowledged that finishing 20th or 15th represents huge improvement for his program, but added, "Obviously in the playoffs you expect more. There's that pressure there." The playoff picture after Gateway shows just how much trouble Van Gisbergen is in. With one race left in the first round, only Hamlin and Chase Briscoe have locked in their spots with wins. Kyle Larson sits 60 points above the cut line and can actually clinch his spot just by starting the race at Bristol. Above the cut line, you've got Bubba Wallace at plus 50, Ryan Blaney at plus 42, despite getting spun by Larson during the race. Austin Dillon sits 11 points back, followed by Van Gisbergen at minus 15, Alex Bowman at minus 35 after another rough day, and Josh Berry at minus 45, following his second straight last-place finish. For Van Gisbergen, Bristol represents a last-chance opportunity. The Base Pro Shop's night race has been tough for international drivers to figure out, and Van Gisbergen's limited experience at the half-mile track doesn't help his chances. He needs either a miracle finish or for several drivers ahead of him to have problems. Meanwhile, Hamlin left Gateway in vintage form, embracing his role as NASCAR's biggest villain. After taking the checkered flag, he did a long burnout down the front stretch while the crowd booed loudly. His response was perfect. It's remarkable what Hamlin is juggling right now. He's co-hosting a podcast, running a 3-car race team with Michael Jordan, raising 3 kids including one born just 3 months ago, and still performing at an elite level in his 20th Cup Series season. Team owner Joe Gibbs marvels at Hamlin's ability to handle everything, joking he's in one meeting after another. The more stuff he does, the better off he is. The contrast between Hamlin and Van Gisbergen couldn't be sharper right now. Hamlin is racing stress-free after locking in his playoff spot, while Van Gisbergen faces potential elimination from his first NASCAR playoff appearance. Hamlin has a clear timeline for his career and specific goals he wants to achieve. Van Gisbergen is still learning how to set up cars for oval racing and finding speed when it matters most. Bristol Motor Speedway will be the site where these two very different stories continue. The stakes couldn't be higher for the 4 drivers currently on the outside looking in. Josh Berry is 45 points back and basically needs a win to advance. Alex Bowman has struggled with speed and pit road mistakes for 2 straight weeks. Austin Dillon is hanging on by 11 points after a difficult day at Gateway where he actually spun out his own brother Ty during the race, but all eyes will be on Van Gisbergen. The 3-time Supercars champion came to NASCAR with high expectations, and making the playoffs in his first full season was already an achievement. Getting eliminated in the first round would sting, but it wouldn't erase the progress he's made adapting to a completely different style of racing. Hamlin's retirement timeline adds another layer to this story. While Van Gisbergen is just getting started in NASCAR, one of the sport's biggest stars is counting down his final races. Hamlin wants to go out on top, and with 70 races left, every opportunity to win becomes more precious.
What do you think?
Oh man, he's the real deal. At first I wasn't sure, but the guy's earning respect. He's bringing the fun back.
62 to go when they come to the line.
Oh, look at, oh no!
Oh, he spun the tires and then spinning.
Cletus McFarland was never supposed to be a NASCAR driver. Known for his insane car stunts and burnouts on YouTube, he seemed like just another internet star playing around with fast cars. But now, he's racing with the pros, and the NASCAR world is divided. Some are cheering him on, while others think he doesn't belong. So, what do the real NASCAR drivers think about him? The answers might surprise you. Cletus McFarland's rise from a YouTube car enthusiast to a legitimate NASCAR racer is nothing short of extraordinary. For years, Cletus was the guy who burned rubber, hosted burnout contests, and created wild car stunts for his massive online following. No one could have predicted that this YouTube personality would one day find himself behind the wheel of a real race car in the NASCAR scene. But when Cletus made his ARCA debut at Daytona with Reddy Jones Racing, it was clear this wasn't just a stunt, it was the start of a serious racing career. Yes, his first race ended in a crash, but instead of giving up or making excuses, Cletus took it as a learning opportunity. He didn't just walk away. He became obsessed with improving. Cletus started studying race tapes, watching lap after lap of footage, and seeking advice from veteran drivers who had been racing for decades. This was no longer about stunts or social media fame, it was about becoming a skilled driver. Despite his commitment to getting better, not everyone was impressed. NASCAR veteran Kenny Wallace didn't hold back. He criticized Cletus for using an unauthorized in-car camera setup and wearing safety gear that didn't meet NASCAR's standards. Wallace, a respected voice in the sport, was blunt. You don't just show up and freestyle your way through, there are lives on the line. His criticism was clear. It wasn't about fame, it was about the rules and safety of the sport. Rather than reacting defensively, Cletus did something surprising. He apologized.
So I felt like an idiot, and I apologized to who I hit there. That sucks, but we ended up, P9?
This moment of humility showed the racing world that Cletus wasn't just there for the attention, he was serious about learning and earning his place on the track. It didn't take long for other NASCAR legends to notice Cletus's drive to improve. One major turning point came when NASCAR great Greg Biffle, a driver with 19 Cup Series wins, offered to help. Here's what Jeff Gregg said post-race about Cletus McFarland's ARCA debut.
He did all the work, warmed the tires up on the back. I told him to, and he, felt like he had his grip down, but the back different than the front.
Biffle took Cletus under his wing, giving him tips on everything from driving techniques to communication with the pit crew. This kind of mentorship from someone with Biffle's experience was a game changer for Cletus, giving him the confidence to keep going. Then came Kevin Harvick, a 3-time NASCAR Cup Series champion. Harvick invited Cletus onto his podcast for a no-nonsense conversation. Harvick explained that NASCAR was no easy sport to master. It took years of experience, hard work, and dedication. But Harvick also saw the effort Cletus was putting in and acknowledged his determination. This kind of support from two seasoned veterans proved that Cletus wasn't just a flash in the pan, he was becoming a legitimate driver in the sport. Every race Cletus entered was a chance to grow, and he didn't shy away from the hard lessons.
I think I ran every single possible line through 3 and 4.
I saw that.
And I think I just killed the front right on the car,
Yeah,
trying to keep up with those dudes.
He wasn't afraid to admit that he was struggling, but it was clear he was learning from every mistake. He also had some humorous insights along the way. After being passed by another driver, he joked,
It's like getting your freaking wing clipped when they come out on your outside. Holy, the first time that happened, I'm lucky I didn't take that dude outside of me out.
But these jokes weren't just about fun. They showed that Cletus was absorbing the reality of NASCAR's intense competition. He wasn't there to coast, he was there to work hard, learn, and improve. Critics raised concerns about whether the sport was taking too big a risk by letting a YouTube star into the mix. Was this about entertainment, or was it about racing skills? These were valid concerns, especially after Cletus caused a crash that took out several cars. In a moment of raw honesty, he said, "I want to start out by apologizing to the team that I took out. I think it was several cars. I just feel terrible. Every time I go racing, I don't want to get taken out. I felt it. It sucks." Cletus's emotional apology was a sign that he wasn't just in it for the views. His mistakes didn't define him. His willingness to own them and move forward did. While Cletus was gaining attention on the track, his real work was happening behind the scenes. He knew that to succeed, he needed more than just on-track experience. He needed knowledge. Cletus expanded his team, bringing in a veteran crew chief who could help him navigate the technical side of the sport. But that wasn't all. Cletus started attending races he wasn't driving in, simply to observe how the pros did it. He wanted to learn about pit calls, race strategies, and the way a race unfolded from start to finish. He also reflected on his mistakes. After one race, he admitted, "I've been sent home and I made a complete rookie maneuver on the restart. I zigged and then I zagged and then she was blowing my door off, and on the zag, I hit her and put her in the wall. I feel terrible about it." But instead of giving up or feeling sorry for himself, Cletus kept moving forward, working hard to improve. Cletus's journey reached a major milestone at Kansas Speedway. This time, he didn't crash. He didn't overdrive the car. He finished the race clean. Reflecting on his performance, Cletus said, "I forgot there was no dang restrictor plate on this thing. I'm like, wham, gave her the beans. It steps out, and then I clipped Robusto. Just feels bad, but we'll move forward." He showed patience, control, and maturity, qualities that were missing in his earlier races. This was proof that Cletus was evolving as a driver, earning the respect of NASCAR veterans one race at a time. Cletus's journey is more than just about racing. It's about growth, transformation, and learning how to be part of something much bigger than himself. He's learning the ropes of NASCAR while still staying true to the personality that got him to this point in the first place. That balancing act might be his greatest challenge, but it's also what could help NASCAR connect with a new generation of fans. Cletus McFarland may have started out as a YouTube sensation, but now he's a real NASCAR driver. He's faced criticism, made mistakes, and apologized for them. But through it all, he's kept pushing forward. Whether you view him as a trailblazer or a troublemaker, there's no denying that Cletus is changing the game. His journey is forcing NASCAR to ask important questions. Who belongs on the track, and what does it really take to be a part of the sport? And that question might just be his most important lap yet.
Here's a guy that has found a fan base and found a way to do the stuff he loves to do and let people enjoy it, and he's getting paid for it now. So
he is an absolute brilliant marketer. He's great for all aspects of racing Florida. He does tour destructions, he does burnouts, he does the roundy round. He's just...
I feel like the right side weight's going to help him in this deal. 60
No rollback.
It all began with smoke, speed, and wild burnouts. But then, something shocking happened. Out of nowhere, Tony Stewart, yes, the NASCAR legend, stepped in and said something that made the racing world stop. It was bold, unexpected, and instantly changed how everyone sees Cletus McFarland. You might expect a YouTube star to get quick praise from celebrities these days, but here is something that stops you cold. NASCAR legend Tony Stewart just laid out a defense of Cletus McFarland that nobody saw coming, and it changed everything. It starts with a simple but powerful line. You can tell he knows how to have a great time and knows how to entertain people. Coming from a three-time NASCAR champion, that is not just approval. That is a stamp of legitimacy. Here is a guy used to grinding out wins under pressure, 49 Cup Series victories, and yet he takes a moment to recognize something fresh. He is not just talking about the pranks or the burnouts. He sees someone who knows how to bring joy into the world of stock car racing and make it matter. No formula, no stale commentary, just genuine fun that pulls people in. That is gold in Tony's book. And then comes the next layer. He is not merely a personality. Tony watches where passion turns into enterprise. He pointed out how Cletus built a fan base doing exactly what he loves. He lets people enjoy it. And yes, he gets paid for it. That hits differently when the person speaking knows the business side inside and out. It is easy to dismiss creators as flashy or shallow. It is another thing entirely when a guy who owns teams and runs businesses says you nailed the model. That alone shifts the conversation. Now add this: Tony Stewart says Cletus holds a pilot's license, specifically a helicopter pilot's license. And when a man who is also a licensed helicopter pilot says that you are not going to be a dumbass and go earn something like that unless you are sharp, that is a serious statement. It places Cletus into a different category. He is not just entertaining, he is intelligent, detail-oriented, disciplined, and committed enough to master something that most of us never even consider. Think about the arc of that. You start with laughter and spectacle, then build toward respect for turning creativity into a business. Then you crown it with evidence of real-world technical competence. That progression alone keeps people watching, because each moment raises the stakes. Cletus is not just having fun with cars on YouTube, he is also racing in the ARCA Menard series. Even with some crashes, he has shown real progress and speed. Tony Stewart sees how serious he is and respects his driving. That kind of respect means Cletus is not just a creator, he is a real driver. Tony and Cletus have fun together and get along really well. When they do things like racing or car stunts, it feels real. One time, Tony just stopped by but ended up joining Cletus for a fun video. That small moment showed their friendship is real. They enjoy spending time together and respect each other. This matters because when Tony Stewart supports you, it shows others you are the real deal. It helps you get noticed by serious racers and teams. He is not just saying you are good, he is showing that you belong in racing. That kind of support can open big doors and change how people see you. Cletus has already achieved what many thought was impossible. He turned wrench-turning entertainment into a media empire. Over 4 million subscribers, events like the Freedom 500, collaborations with legends, and a loyal fan base that does not just watch, but shows up. It is not just a show. It is a movement, a culture that fuses adrenaline with authenticity. And what makes this even more powerful is how Tony Stewart fits into it. He is old school, respected, built on years of performance and sweat. For him to throw his weight behind someone from the YouTube world, that is not small. That is seismic.